Yeah, just guys, seriously, let's have fun and let's finish this thing. Let's make another one. This is really great. It's much more, maybe not fascinating, maybe not exciting, but something new. Forget about the rewards. As a matter of fact, at least in my part, I don't really care about the rewards. I don't really care about the status. I don't really care about being in the Hall of Fame or anything. I'm just doing it because it's fun, and we all have our jobs, we all have our lives to live, and if we can put something beautiful, something good into it, all the better. We got enough problems already, and yeah, it's just one way of getting rid of your problem. None of us are saints, no one's insane, and everyone's equally good. It's just that we're much better. We can see, we have this vision. We can feel what other players are gonna do, and you're gonna have to outsmart us. Don't beat the wall with your head. Don't think it's just 1 or 0. Computer language. You gotta think. You gotta adapt. You gotta outthink us. And yeah, good luck with that.
Alright, 2 elephants have been bribed already.
That was a huge move there by Immaculate, but he gets the cap stack and, kills a heap of units.
This is the kind of fight that I was expecting at this level.
Lots of bribes going down right now, but the scouts going crazy.
Perfect timing. That's a perfect time. These guys are going to take the Lakota city. Look at that. Oh my god, Sims just lost his capital. I cannot believe it. Alright, yeah, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? What's happening here? It's a triple. They are going to triple Dragonio. Dragonio has no clue. Dragonio's capital is going down, no doubt about it. Kron has got all his militia right there.
I'm a huge fan of Young One.
Young One came with 3 spies. That's enough to change the flow of the game.
Would you say that EL is more of a democracy or dictatorship?
It's either I play or I don't play. I've been playing pretty good lately, so watch out there.
Oh my god, just look at Zen Mechanics today. He just went for Science 5. Oh, and TNT just decided, F my city, I'm gonna help them. This is a slap on the face for anybody who said the game was over. That was the best comeback ever in the history of Rise of Nations.
It was neck and neck, man. It could have went either way. Honestly, it was really close.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kron here, and I'm joined by a very special guest for today's cast. We will be casting the qualifiers for Group B for Nomadium 2, and I'd like to introduce everyone to my good friend, Old Dirty H. We are joined by Old Dirty here for this very special cast. We're in the tail end of the brackets, and casting a tournament's not always easy, and I think Old Dirty was showing some great talent in the recent tournament that Raja started to organise, and so we're trying to poach some extra talent here just for the casting team as well, especially because Jatin, Dave, and Proways can't make it at the moment. So Old Dirty, would you like to give us a bit of an update on your background and your history with Rise of Nations? Where do you live? What do you do? Anything you want to share with us?
Sure. Thanks, Kron. Thanks for having me. I've been in the RON community for a long time, since the beginning, basically. Off and on. I've taken years off, but the last couple years I've been more involved, especially since the great work you and Jatin have done. It makes it more fun to get out, and play more. But I currently reside in Baku, Azerbaijan, my wife, and that's it. I'm ready to watch some good action here with the old Kron dog.
Absolutely, and I have to ask on behalf of the viewers. Most people they've heard your accent before. You've got a very American accent, but
that's right.
That moustache is killer. Can you give us a bit of the story of how did you end up in Azerbaijan of all places?
I'm a businessman, so it's where it brought me. So it wasn't, it just was the next opportunity, and inshallah, as they say here, we'll see what the next opportunity brings.
And when did you first start playing Rise of Nations? Like how far back do you go?
I go back pre Thrones and Patriots. So when the first iteration back one of the 03 or 04, and played a lot of LAN games with kind of local buddies, and then we do a lot of scenario stuff. And then on the GameSpy, once Throws and Patriots came out, that really changed the game. I know a lot of guys didn't like the upgrade because for a lot of the new players that don't know, governments wasn't involved, and of course Lakota, Iroquois, Persians, Indians, Americans, and Dutch were not in the game. So those were all added with the expansion. I want to say in late 2004, early 2005, something like that, the expansion came. And that's when you really started to see a jump in kind of the competitive level guys. You know, there was old players like Metallica and Fetus. Those guys were around back in those days. I used to play a lot with the AU clan, was an old clan. Guys like Birdie, Sims, and those guys have been around for a long, long time. And of course, kind of the lower pro, high inter type guys like Clan Hater's been around forever. Grax and these kind of guys have been around just a long time. So I've been around the game. Again, I've taken years off at a time. I didn't play at all in 2015, 2014. I don't think I played at all. But the last couple years, I've definitely been more involved. But I'll take months or two or 3 months off at a time.
Yeah,
so
right.
It just depends.
And what's the story with your mustache? Is that typical in Azerbaijan, or is that something you just wanted to grow?
Well, no. In Azerbaijan, they like more kind of the Hitler style mustache, the real tight mustache. But I don't know. I've just always been I've had different variations of facial hair throughout the years, but I've been rocking the mustache now for a good probably 7-8 years now. I'd say straight.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Well, again, thanks for coming on short notice. As we talked about before,
problem.
So the games we're going to be casting in a moment is basically the Group 2 games. The first one off the bat will be LAT Raiders versus Euro LAT. And these guys, effectively, the way this tournament works in this qualifying stage is you've got 4 teams are randomly split into 2 groups. They both play each other. Then the winners play each other, the losers play each other. And basically, if you win twice, you advance. So at the moment, we've had the Raiders beat Clan G.a.Y, and Euro LAT beat LAT Colomby. So essentially, this first match is going to be the winners' game between LAT Raiders and Euro LAT. And just to remind everyone who's on the rosters there, for LAT Raiders, we've got LAT Alan, LAT Snickow, LAT Thor, and on the other team, we've got Euro LAT, which is Greenlove, Uberfly, Connor McDavid, Quetzalcoatl, and Henry. What's your thoughts on, have you played with these guys much before? Do you think they're going to, who's got the upper hand coming into it?
We were talking off stream about Snickow. He's the only one I'm not familiar with, but I've heard, from you that he's pretty damn good. So I'd have to give the edge probably to them. Uberfly is a great player. He's an aggressive player. Connor McDavid stepped his game up a lot. It's a pretty even matchup, but I would probably give the edge to Allen and Snickow. Allen's definitely gotten much better. That would be my initial take. So I think Allen and Snickow, probably those two together is a pretty dangerous combination.
And how about the other match that we're going to see, which is LAT Colomby versus Team G.a.Y? Just to remind everyone, so the rosters are on the screen right now, but we've got Colomby has Lockie, Kayo, also Kike, and Jonathan, and then Team G.a.Y has Mr. Whippy, Rochi, Neckandum, Hockey Star, and Rip, I'm Killing You.
Rip, I thought Rip was an L guy. He left EL?
Yeah, I think he's just mercenary for this tournament. But yeah, I think he's still.
I understand. Okay, all right. Well, he's very good. Hockey Star. A lot of these guys seem like standard players. I know Whippy was a pretty good standard player, at least back in the day. I've played with him recently. He seems pretty solid. Rochi's good. Nikanim's played well. Lockie. Who is Lockie? He's got another name. I can't remember who he is.
I can't remember, but yeah, I think he does have another
He's
name.
pretty good. Caio Pompilio. Kike's played better. I'd probably give the edge to G.a.Y here. So, well, but it's again, this isn't lopsided. These are pretty even match.
Yeah, no, I think it should be good. And then your final thoughts on the map here. So both games are going to be played on Old World. What do you think when it comes to the tiers? Obviously, you can only pick one from each tier, but you can pick whatever nation you want, essentially. Do you think certain nations are going to do well? What's your pick for the strongest nations on this map?
For Old World, there's no water, so yeah, just the standard, Lakota, Japs, Germans, Turk, Mongol, obviously, those are powerhouse nations. They're going to do fine in any map. So any team that has those are definitely going to have an advantage. Unless you have like a Nubians or something and you get lucky with the rares, because Old World you can get lucky sometimes with the rares. It just depends on where you're at, especially in Nomad.
Yeah.
If you get your city up in a good location, you might get lucky.
That's something.
And Spanish too can be good because you can raid all the rares, and keep pressure on. So, like if you had a Spanish Laco on the same team, that's pretty devastating.
Yeah.
Because Old World you have a limited amount of rares as it is. So if you're able to keep pressure on those, and that can really shift the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to come down to who they pick for their tier 1 nation, because you can only pick one of Japanese, Lakota, Turks, Egypt,
right.
Mongols, and Germans. So, yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know, personally, I'm thinking maybe on Old World, I'm probably biased towards Lakota, but I feel like Lakota depends on if you've got a player who can actually play them well, because not everyone can just, not everyone likes the style of Lakota. Sometimes it's just such a weird nation compared to maybe a more standard one like Japs. So
Right.
yeah, I think
true.
I think that'll be interesting. All right, well, one other thing we will quickly announce before we get into the games is just so everyone knows who's watching the tournament so far. So we've announced before that basically 4 teams will qualify from the qualifiers. 1 team will go into each group. Essentially, was always been the plan. However, we do have some breaking news just in the last a week or so. In the tournament, basically there was a LAT team, a LAT El Cartel, who everyone might remember. So El Cartel was a really strong team. Basically, the best players, I'll try and bring them up now, but some of them...
Was that Coco's team?
Yeah, I don't think it was Coco's team, no. That was Fusion. So Coco's team is still no change there. But the team for LAT El Cartel, which is Blast, who else?
Oh, Blast, that's right.
Oleg.
Right.
So Oleg, I don't know if anyone remembers. Oleg he won. He's a good player and won the 1v1 tournament for the Inter or the advanced LAT 1v1 tournament. So he's obviously proven himself. And then we've got who else? I think they had Dragon Neo originally, although Dragon Neo might be joining the other team. So basically, long story short, there's been a bit of a collapse in the team. For whatever reason, they can't make it work. So that spot is now up for grabs, and LAT El Cartel has been, removed from the tournament. So what that means, though, where one team has, a downfall, there is opportunity in that. There'll be a silver lining. So of the qualifiers, basically, whoever comes third in each of these 2 groups, out of basically at the moment the only team that's advanced, not trying to sound cocky or anything, but that was our AZ team. So basically out of Kung Fu, AS or PN7, or whoever comes third out of those guys and whoever comes third out of bracket 2 will have a final playoff, a super qualifier, and whoever wins that super qualifier basically goes straight through to the next round. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And as part of that, we do need to quickly draw what map that'll be on. So, do you mind counting us down, Old Dirty? And I'll hit the wheel button so we can spin this wheel.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is the final map for the qualifier. Will be on Great Lakes.
Great Lakes.
Wow. There we go.
That's shit map.
I must have. We should start to rig these maps so that we can get the ones we want. But hey, at least it's not Mesa, all right? So
as well.
Yeah. And that's to we've basically set it up so that we can't get the same map twice. So obviously Sahara, Old World, and Watering Hole were all taken out of that spin. So the final map, whoever that is, the third place of both teams will play on Great Lakes. We obviously won't be casting that today, but that will be played hopefully by the teams over the next few days. And that'll be coming to you guys in a cast very soon for that final spot to replace LAT, El Cartel, who have had to drop out, unfortunately, from the tournament. So that's probably about it from a pre-match point of view. What do you think? Should we jump straight into the first game?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We'll load it up right now. Okay. So the first match here, LAT Euro versus LAT Raiders. This is the winner's game. Again, just to remind everyone, whoever advances here, whoever wins this match does advance to the round of 16, and whoever loses goes on to play the winner of G.a.Y versus LAT Colomby. All right, let's get started. And the map is on, as we said, Old World. So
what's the nation matchup here?
So let's have a quick look at the nations, as you said. And just to orientate ourselves too, in the bottom right-hand side of the map, essentially it looks like that's where the LAT, the Euro guys have started here. Whilst we've got on the other side of the map, the top left is where the Raiders are. I'll just quickly find them now so that we can see the orientation. And it looks like Thor and Snookow are quite close to each other, so hopefully there's not too much overlap from their perspective and they're not going to steal each other's mountains and resources. Let's have a quick look though at the nations. So we do have the tier 1 pick here. Ooh, straight off the bat here, Thor has picked Turks for his nation pick. They've gone Turks, French, and British. What's your initial thoughts on those 3 picks there?
So all solid picks. Obviously Turks extremely aggressive. With French together, that's good because you get the French despot going. It's very aggressive, and also you can go despot with British. Especially if you have diamonds. So that could be this could be a very aggressive game from these 3.
Yeah, very good point. I mean, far out. That's probably as much of a rush pick that you could possibly take. And I think the key to unlocking this game is going to be whatever Thor does. As the Turk guy, where he builds his siege, that's probably going to be the biggest thing to keep an eye out for. Then on the other team, we have Greenlove, Quetzal, and Connor McDavid. Greenlove's gone Lakota, Quetzal's gone Iroquois, and Connor's gone Indians. What's your thoughts on those 3?
Lakota obviously is probably the most dominant team, like you said. Nation if used properly. So that's always a great pick. Iroquois, another great aggressive nation, and Indians are all around good with the cheap buildings. Prices don't go up, so you can get a pretty quick start. And the elephants, of course, are brutal, and they just keep getting stronger throughout the ages. So it's a pretty even matchup. I think it's going to come down to Thor, like you said. How aggressive is he going to be? If they can get a double going early, that could be a game changer. But if Lako raids well and keeps pressure on, I think it's a pretty even matchup overall.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think both teams have got pretty good picks here. I think Turk is a bit more boom or bust. Obviously, if you go Turks and you don't make anything happen, Lako might be able to use their rating advantages to kind of overpower your team in the long term. It's also going to be fascinating to see, on Old World, it's such a map where the rivers constrain everything a bit, and it's just mobility can be hard sometimes. So if the Turk player is going to go for a big rush, they need to get nice and close. Perhaps they need to stack their civics so that their city goes one after the other so that they can move forward as close as possible to get those siege nice and close to the enemy. But at the moment, though, it does appear like there is a fair bit of a gap between the actual capitals here. Do you think that's going to pose much of a problem for the Turk rush?
I mean, it can, but like you said, if they can sieve quickly and kind of leapfrog each other and sieve close to, it looks like they already see Greenlove's cap. So if they can just build off of purple there and get close to Lako before Lako can get a sieve up, that could be, it really just depends how fast. And I see they have furs too, so they're going to be able to get a mill up really fast also. So
yeah, that's a very good point. And I mean, furs is without a doubt the best rare that you could possibly get if you were starting out as Turks. For anyone who's new to Rise of Nations, basically Turks get very cheap military, and that just stacks even further on that. They have scattered some decent rares so far. I mean, Bison is a very handy rare to have in the early game to get your food up. So basically, they can fill out their 100 food if they wanted to, just from getting furs and Bison in combination with each other. Looks like they do have that silver as well, which they can probably secure there. So
yeah, they should be able to, especially when they sieve. It'll be hard for Lakota to tower that. If purple can sieve quickly and keep an archer there, then it won't be able to get towered. And then that silver is great for Turks, because they don't have to worry about science. You can just get your mill 2. He could, and if he could somehow use silk, but he doesn't even necessarily need to use silk. But if he just goes com 2, mill 2, and maybe even skip civ, you could just age quickly and just go in for the kill. So it's a risk there.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess if you were the LAT Raider guys here, so Snikau, Thor, and Alan, I guess the question is, like, if you were playing as them, would you go for the quick kill, the all-in, or would you play a longer game here?
I'd probably try. I mean, with Turks, for me personally, I always go for the quick kill.
Yeah.
But I guess you just gotta adjust as it goes. I would go with the intention of a quick kill, but if you need to adjust as you go. But with silver and furs, you should be able to go pretty quick. I mean, if you do it properly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I mean, the thing is as well, like we talked about, do they stack their civics here? It looks like a great kind of first move here by Thor. He's gone for Civic 1, but the reason I like that is because he's able to get his city down nice and quick. He's not having that classic delay where you try and build your cities one after another, and one person, you both go Civic at the same time, and then one person's sitting there, waiting, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the other guy to finish. So that could actually work out pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a smart move. Because then 92 can just get his he can do his market and then civ, and then if he gets again quick enough, they'll be right on both orange and blue's capital. I mean, pretty quick if they can get him up. Yeah. And you can see Lako's doing the standard science comm, so he's gonna have a little delay going civ. So if purple can hurry up and get a city there, that would be huge.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, yeah, it looks like Green Lover's Lako here has gone for science, which is great economically. He's got a decent scout here. I'd have to say, he's getting good marks here for his scout. He's scouted a lot of the map. There is about to collect a ruin there, and once you start getting 50 resources, that's when you really start to see the effects of Lako coming into effect. Really starting to dominate from an economic point of view. Just going to be interesting to see where is. Yep, here we go. We've got Snikau here getting his Civic. And it looks like Snikau probably will try and build it right on the edge of this border here, as we talked about, nice and close to that Lako capital.
But you see, I just saw 2 Lako citizens going, so it's going to be a race to see who can get that city up. Oh, okay.
Oh,
yep,
wow.
Lako got it up first, yeah.
Yeah, well done there. That was a pretty clutch move. Probably accidental, but still, that was...
Yeah, it still worked out.
That worked out well, and it has got this... It's funny, you probably wouldn't have built that there if it hadn't been those, what do you call them?
The rocks.
The rocks, yeah, it's blocking it. Yep. The only thing though is I am still a little bit concerned, not that this was a right or wrong move here for LAC, but I feel like the fact that this city is literally as close as it possibly could be, because they built it at the same time, it does mean that if Turks decides to build his siege there, there's not a lot of room to maneuver, if that makes sense. It's right on his doorstep.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, it's definitely, this is going to be a favor to the French and Turks, this location.
Yeah, I feel like close combat is just, exactly what Turks want, whereas for LAC, depends on who you're against, but yeah, maybe a bit more breathing room would help him defend here if they do go for the rush, or age 2 attack, as we probably think they will. Some nice rating of this sugar here with this citizen, causing a lot of annoyance to LAT Alan.
Yeah, but Alan's cived on it, so they'll be able to tower that, and that's huge for them, because if they can use sugar and silver, like I said, none of them have to even bother with science. They can still age pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. They do have some really nice rares here. Well, it looks like the LAT guys do have diamonds, so we'll have to have a look at their rares too. Nice little raid here from Quetzal. Getting these bison is huge in this early game. Can't say how frustrating that is to have to build 2 more farms when you thought you got away with getting 100 food early on.
Yeah, and this is proper use of Iroquois early raids. This is one of their strong suits for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Green Love needs to be careful here. The natural reaction is to send a man in to raid, but he does need to be careful that, in all likelihood, it looks like Snickow has got a racks up here. He does turn away, which has worked out well for him, but definitely doesn't want to lose units early on.
Yeah, it looked like Green Love is getting ready for the defense there at Mandena's front city, but he's going to need a lot more help than that, especially if the French despot comes. It's going to be hell to pay. That city's going to go down really fast. And the Turks don't even have to. All the Turks need to do is build 2 siege factories and let the French just roll through. The Turk doesn't even have to support much, other than with siege.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing, is just as long as he can reduce the city down, French despot just healing in the opponent's territory is probably going to roll with the rest of it. So it looks like those hoplites are going down for Snickow though, so a little bit clumsy there with those units. Just throwing them away for no gainer at all. Some nice...
Yeah, that was a blunder. It was a bit of a blunder.
Yeah, a bit of a blunder. Nothing that'll change the game, but you know, still a small win there for the guys from EuroLat.
No, it is. It's huge. Those early units, if you can save as many as you can, I mean, they can shift an early rush. They really can. So it's not the end of the world, but it's you know, it's a good win for Orange in that battle for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think it comes down to basically, you know, if you simplify Rise of Nations, it's like how big is your army percentage-wise compared to your opponents. And if you've got an army of, like, in the late game of, you know, 22 versus 20, it's not such a big deal. But if it's in the early game and it's 4 units versus 3, that's, you know, 33% more units. So. Oh
yeah, and especially if you if you're a micro guy, if you can play good micro, I mean, you're gonna walk right through them.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, I'm sure we'll come up with some kind of formula one day where it's like unit size, army size times micro skill variable equals.
Right. Yeah, plus, whatever. Plus tactics or armor, you know, whatever.
Yeah, plus obsidian, something like that, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll figure out something. Oh, there's a bit of a... this tower's about to go up, but it looks like it will be close to getting sniped. No, it will finish.
I think he got it. He got it, yeah. And barely.
Well done. Oh, but this merchant, he does evacuate it into the tower. Well done there. Nice placement of the tower right next to it, allowing the instant evacuation. Otherwise, that was definitely going down.
Pretty aggressive raids here from India.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the biggest... I was expecting to see maybe... I would have liked to have seen Thor go for Mill 2 before aging, given that he had furs. But he hasn't gone for that. He's just gone for, you know, age 2, and he's getting his science after the fact. Again, no harm done.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Possibly.
I personally wouldn't have run that move, but maybe he's going for more of a long game, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, in rare occasions, you do see Turks used more as an economic nation because of their cheap villages, as opposed to the classic, you know, we all know Turks for one reason, and that's the popping out 4 siege weapons at 11-minute mark and just wreaking all hell on your opponents. But,
that's right.
But yeah, at the moment, no, he's going for a more conservative build. We'll see if it pays off or not later on, I guess. Good rating here, though.
I mean, if they can... good raid here on the Obsidian. Again, Connor's been a great raider these last, I'd say, couple months I've been playing with him. He was more of a boomer, but he's really stepped up his raid game a lot. So this is an excellent raid from him.
Yeah, no, he definitely... His game's come leaps and bounds since first coming onto the scene. Probably about 6 months ago, I feel. Yeah. Possibly longer, but...
well, he played in GS under it was like a Costco. I think it was a LAT Costco or something like that. So I remember him from back in the day, but he's definitely improved his all-around game.
So. Yeah, and you can see like how effective this is. He's invested quite a lot into this army, but he does have salt, he does have cotton, and they're both excellent rares to spam units in the early game. And the fact that he's got this numbers advantage, he's got, you know, Alan running away here. Alan's had to spam a lot of units just to keep up. But I feel like,
yeah, and Connor's only lost one heavy, it looks like. You know, and that's pretty good considering. He's only lost one unit of this whole raid. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just having a quick look at the ruins. So ruins are fairly even. You got Greenlove had the most as Lakota. That's probably expected, but still a good outcome there.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Everything else is fairly even. And as far as units lost, so we've got Connor with 3 killed to 1 lost, and Snickow lost 4 units. So, wow.
With no kills. Yeah, that's very, very bad in the early game. That could haunt him.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And I do like this as well by Greenlove. He's building his siege factory nice and early. I like the fact that he's being aggressive, but it's going to come down to who attacks first here, because you've got Snickow with his own siege factory, and I feel like this is whoever can hit the other person first and kind of establish a foothold is going to have a huge advantage in this little melee that's coming up.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still pretty shocked. There's not a Turk siege factory right there. At least one.
Yeah, I must admit, I do think this is definitely a bit of a blunder here from Thor. At the very least, not making the most of what he could be doing here. And you can see that Snickow in the chat, can you read that? He's saying, guys, what the...
Yeah. So... Yeah. Well, and fair enough. I mean, they're getting raided like a, it's terrible. I mean, it's to be expected. And this, you're going up against Iroquois and Lakota, raids are coming. And mix in Connor, who's been raiding with any nation he gets these days, you got to know there's going to be relentless raids. And so that tower is just, if he would have put that tower just, a little bit closer to the fur, he could have covered the fur and that wood camp. So kind of a bad placement of that tower.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably you can't really have both, but I feel like towering the furs there would be a much better use for the team's advantage, I guess, whereas the towering his wood, I guess, protects him a bit more. So he does have his siege finally down now, but not utilizing them at the moment.
And that was a bad spot to place because it's right on the river. So you look, when the siege pop out, they're going right into the river. It's going to slow them down. I would have cheated it more behind the Senate. Would have been a better spot for that siege factory.
Yeah, 100%. Or at least, if you are going to build it kind of in no man's land, at least build it within the city radius of Iroquois, so that you get your gold bonus for your caravans. But at the moment, yeah, it's just a bit of an awkward position there.
Yeah, it's just a weird spot. But in the heat of the battle, you just do what you do sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably going to be okay though, because I still think, regardless of how well or how poorly they play this with the Turks, when we can see Alan's gone despot, Snickow's gone despot, kind of expected that. Let's see what he went for Republic with the Turk player, whereas on the other side, Lakota has gone Republic. Lakota needs to be careful here though. Once he catches wind of the fact that there's 2 here, he can't afford to be throwing away units here against 2 armies.
Yeah, well, Connor just said he's coming, so once you get 1 or 2 elephants to help clean this mess up.
That's very true. Connor does have
And there's 2 elephants, perfect. Yeah, 2 elephants does a hell of a lot of damage in the Ancient Age. So, yeah. And it looks like he's got attrition, so that's good. Or no, he doesn't. Never mind. He needs attrition.
Yeah, no attrition yet, and I mean, attrition won't help against the French player, but it will definitely help against Turks, who has gone for Senator here.
Well, once those elephants get up there, they can slaughter that supply wagon and take out that despot. That'll help.
Ooh,
but there's a 3 siege coming from French. That's a lot of siege.
Yeah, that is, and they're not hallucinations. They're not decoys. They're all real. So
no, I know.
There's a lot of
they're real.
A lot of only the 2 Turk sieges still. I do think that Thor is probably just not playing Turks the way they probably should be played, but at the same time, he's getting there. He's getting there.
No, yeah, look, and he's got the armor upgrade, so that's good for Thor. And it looks like Lako still doesn't have an armor upgrade. But they do have those 2 elephants, and I mean, elephants are just awesome.
Yeah.
So that's good help.
Yeah, they
good
are.
Support.
Absolutely. When you say armor upgrade, which armor upgrade do you mean by that?
For the heavy infantry for the Lako, did they get it? I don't think they got it.
Yeah, right. Or,
You know the level 2, you know,
heavy,
I call it armor upgrade.
heavy infantry. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, fair
Where they
enough.
get shields, you know.
Yeah, phalanx. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. See, he's still got age 1 highs. Those guys are gonna get slaughtered.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but yeah, it looks like Quetzalcoatl was very clumsy with his movement there. Basically, just walked a bunch of his units right into the middle of this river. Very, very poor micro, or very poor strategy at least.
Yeah, I saw it.
And now he's...
Especially against Brits, those archers just picked him off.
Yeah, that was not even close. That was like shooting fish in a barrel for those British units. And
Yep.
I don't like his awkward positioning of his buildings here. I mean, he can't reinforce his second city, and if he loses this to despot British, this could be the start of the end for him on this side of the map.
Yeah, it's looking like it, but he's got a pretty good eco going. Well, his foods took a hit, but he's got a ton of knowledge. He maybe if he can age quick, that might save him.
Yeah, he is building towers and a watchtower and a tower over here, so his food will rebound. But this attack is coming soon. Meanwhile, over here,
And he is Lako. I don't think Red has a scout, so he can use that natural ambush. That might be able to save him too.
wow, huge battle here on the other side too. This is massive.
Here comes the 4 Turkish siege now. Finally.
Big Turk army here. They have captured the city, so they've clearly got more units here. But I'm not so worried about the Turks. The Turks making good numbers, but the French units obviously healing with the despot here to support. So that's the units that really need to get killed here. Connor's got a huge number of units though, so unsure what's happened. I mean, Lack must have pretty much lost his entire army here.
Well, like I said, he didn't get that level 2 upgrade for the age 2 upgrade for those high, and they just got slaughtered.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like the unfortunately for the LAT Euro guys, they are crumbling here on both sides.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yep.
Alan with a massive army, and look at those siege. That is a sight to behold. That is beautiful right there. That is
4 each.
Yeah, four. That's 8 siege, and 4 of them are Turk and 4 are just regular. But with the despot there, they're firing pretty quickly as well. So these buildings are
Well, they have a despot and a supply wagon, so it's like double duty. You know, if one's out of range, the other one's gonna pick them up. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, exactly right. So he's got coverage across everything, and obviously,
and they're just melting those buildings.
Oh,
it's like seconds those buildings are going down.
Yeah, that was not taking long at all. Wow, I think
it's again, we saw this early on. I mean, French Turk. This is it's the party's coming, so you got to get ready. And they just Orange made a big blunder by not getting those highs upgraded. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but I think it would have. To have that little bit of a level 2 army is much stronger than a level 1 or age 1. I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it definitely would have helped. I mean, if you can't stand the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen, and these guys knew that the heat was coming at them, and I feel like they had to play perfectly, basically, to hold off this double here. It looked like there wasn't a lack of units that caused them the issue, but perhaps we were probably distracted a little bit by Alan on the other side to see that final engagement, but just an excellent engagement there. And you know what? Like, I was kind of thinking at that point, a little bit underwhelmed by the way Thor had played this so far. I thought they'd go for like we talked about, the classic, go for the jugular, go for attack at 11-minute mark. He sat back, took his time, but they got there in the end. And yeah, they just the Lakota and Indians, they just couldn't marshal a good defense and hold it off.
Yeah, Greenlove's trying to age here, but it looks like they're going for the library. Let's see if they can take the library out before he ages.
Yeah, that's what a move here by the LAT, the LAT Raider guys here. Oh my god, if they get that library, that is a genius move.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
No, they have got it. They have got it. It's just gone down. They've denied him age 3, and now that's got to be the most frustrating thing for Greenlove here. He can't even get his city big. He was only about probably 20 seconds away from getting that, and I mean...
Yeah, and the fort's not going to do anything. The fort's basically useless here, and this is, I think, GG.
Yeah, I think so too. This is definitely GG here. I mean, if the other side was winning, maybe it might still be in the balance, but you can see that Alan here is playing very well.
Yeah, Alan's rolling. He'll probably they're all all three of them are probably close to aging, I would guess. Especially because the Turks got that science. So they're probably close to aging. Yeah, Brits are definitely about to age.
Yeah, I think let's have a look at Brit's library. Yeah, he's pretty much got enough. He only needs 50 more knowledge here, and he'll be the first one. Sorry, the second one to age. Greenlove obviously had to build his library again, which was not ideal, but he has built his library up here. So Greenlove City should go big in a moment, but yeah, of course this is not going to be enough to turn the game around. It may just mean that they'll have 30 seconds more of time.
Yeah, it's just delaying the inevitable at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I never blame teams for doing this. I mean, I'm sure they know in their hearts that this game's over too, but you just never know. There can be those 5%ers where sometimes you can come back from what seems like improbable odds.
That's right. And maybe they'll drop. Maybe we get lucky and someone accidentally drops.
Exactly. They get replaced by AI. You just never know. And
right.
And the
but this deep in like this, I mean, it's the odds are it's less than 1%. I think coming back.
They could probably
pretty low.
Yeah. They could probably GG. I would much prefer teammates though in games online that are willing to play on and fight for the last thing, rather than the guys who GG within like one bad move going the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's lame. I agree. That sucks.
Yeah. Especially when you're winning your side and your allies resign. I'm just like, man, you could have just tried.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Connor said he is aging, so I mean maybe he could pull out a miracle with some elephants.
Oh, he did. I didn't give Quetzal full credit here. He did go for a nice little sneaky attack on Alan's cap there. So I like that move. Trying to make something.
Yeah. But that's just a whatever move. I mean, it's cute. I've pulled that plenty of times. As you go and you just get a quick, boost to your economy. But is that going to help you at this point in the game? I mean, not really, to be honest.
Oh, sorry, I might have missed that too. It looks like he did take the capital. I just might not have been focusing as well as I could have. So if you did get that cap, that would definitely be
he got the sack. But that was it.
Okay. So,
I mean...
Well, fair enough. I mean, yeah, he's got to do something, and getting a cap sack there, full credit. You need to try everything you can, and getting a cap sack definitely goes a long way. It's just, I think, too little, too late here. Although he might be able to start to fight back a bit against Alan, but Alan has a massive army there. Lots of these King's Longbowmen. That's going to be hard to stop. You need almost critical, massive horses to even get a dent into that army.
Yeah.
And they have taken the former Lakota capital here. He did move his capital, so well done on avoiding the cap sack. But yeah, this is GG if it wasn't already.
Yeah, that's what it seems.
Surprisingly, Lakota's eco is actually pretty decent still. 130 food, 150 wood, despite the fact that he's almost got no cities.
Yeah, he's hanging in.
I guess it's just, it's the power of Lakota. Your economy is not focused on the cities itself. They're kind of like a distributed economy with their workers all across the map.
That's right.
But yeah, the green has now captured his second city, so he's going to run out of cities if he's not careful. He's only got one left, and that's his capital, so he unfortunately can't raise that one quick enough to move it again.
But he's doing a good job stalling. Overall, he is stalling the best he can, so I give him credit for that.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, this is a best of one too, so obviously it's high stakes. They lose this game, and they're into the final playoff match. If they win, they're through to the Super 16. Speaking of which, though, it does look like we can probably start talking about LAT Raiders here. Obviously looking extremely good. They've pretty much got this game wrapped up. How do you think they might fare in the Super 16?
We'll see who they're matched up against. They, again, Alan's he's been playing awesome lately, and he's showing it today. He's playing well. So if they, they're looking good. They're looking like they have some pretty good teamwork going right now. So if they keep this up, they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
No, I like this team. I think LAT Raiders could be an underdog here. I do feel like I'm not overly impressed maybe by Thor's Turk play, but I have seen Thor play before with other nations, and I think he's definitely got a place on this team. But I feel like Snickow and Alan are definitely their wild cards. Both excellent players, both showing a lot of capability, a lot of strategy, and they both could definitely upset, a high-level team on their day.
Yeah, and if it's just a one game, I mean, that's everything. That changes everything, because it's just, you could just get lucky, get the good rares, get a good rush going or whatever, so in one game, it's tough to say. If this was a best of 5 or a best of 7, it'd probably be a lot more even. But because it's just a one game, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's high stakes, and I mean, the advantage for any of the teams that do qualify to the next round, it won't be best of 1 anymore. It's going to be best of 3 from that point forward. So it's almost like you need to get through these, cutthroat kind of rounds to earn the right to almost get more of a chance and smooth out the luck in the later rounds. So.
Yep.
Wow, and look at all this plunder. This is just an absolute massacre here.
Yep. Proper use of French despot, no doubt about it.
Yeah, exactly. This is the French Revolution, off with their heads.
Yep. Blood in the streets.
Blood on the streets.
And he's still age 2. He's not even bothering to age. He's like, whatever, I'm just going to keep rolling age 2. And he's max pop limit too.
Yeah.
So, and he's just going.
I feel like Sneakhouse just having fun at this point. I feel like he needs to roll out the guillotines and just like bring the villagers across and just guillotine them all one by one.
Just to. Well, that's basically what he's doing. So,
pretty much.
That a boy.
That's it. And you can see Connor's actually not doing too bad, surprisingly. Despite the fact that we keep saying this is a lost game, a lost cause for them. You know what? They're still in it, and I wouldn't say there's a 0% chance they can come back. I'd say it's a 1%.
No, like I said, Snicko still hasn't aged, so maybe they catch him being cocky and just, all 3 could rush his cap and just try and hold his cap or something maybe, but, the odds are low.
Yeah.
But here comes a despot now. Colossus.
Yeah, that
from Snicko.
Colossus and Hanging Gardens. Forbidden City also.
Yeah, that's just Lako hanging on. He's just stalling. Orange is basically out of the game at this point. He's just trying to survive, just not die. So it's really up to Connor here. Connor's gonna have to carry it because Quetzalcoatl's also in just kind of stall mode.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not looking great. And as soon as the wonders start to go down too, I feel like that's where it's like, even if they manage to somehow get equilibrium back in the game from an army standpoint, just there's no way they're going to be able to catch up with all the other, nice little tidbits that you get with having pyramids and having.
Yeah, the boom. Yeah, the boom kicks in, and you're not going to be able to catch up with the booming.
Yeah. Oh, look at
this. But look at it going for the capital. But it's just kind of a wasted move because he's not going to be able to hold it. He already got the plunder.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't get his 500 anymore. So to do this, he's doing it to disrupt the economy, which in fairness, he's definitely disrupted Alan's food and wood income, and his metal income too. He's bringing his entire army back. It does look like Alan should have enough to stop this, but in fairness, look, this is not going to be a walkover for either army. He needs to get his militia here if Alan wants to make sure that he can clean this up, because it's going to be a bit awkward.
Well, Alan moved his cap. Alan moved his cap anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's
it's a wasted attack, honestly.
And Alan's actually moved it to the front there. It's a little bit vulnerable, I think.
Yeah. So one thing they could do now is if Connor pulls, they could they could pincher move him here and just try and sandwich him in. But the Forbidden City's pretty exposed.
Yeah, very true.
So
he has got a tower there. Though.
Alan could just take the Forbidden City and he's fine anyways. So.
Yeah, good point. It's almost like capturing an opponent's Forbidden City just to save their own ass would be a pretty nice move.
Yeah, it is. It's a clutch move.
It will be clutch. What I would like to see, though, I mean, if I was, the coach of the LAT Euro guys right now, and, you're trying to figure out a way, how do you get back in this game? I'd be saying to these guys, hey, maybe if, Connor can get this army here, he's got a nice army going, and somehow team up with Quetzal, who's also got a decent army, and basically double Alan here, who's now been forced to move his cap to the front. I feel like this city is quite exposed. There's opportunity. And I mean, if they can knock them out, obviously, that becomes a 3v2. The game suddenly opens up a little bit.
A little bit, but Snickhow's got such a boom going right now, it's going to be hard. And then Thor's got Gardens coming up. So even if it gets 3 versus 2, I still don't think it'll matter because Orange is so far behind.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Basically, Orange has been kneecapped here. And if he
But I agree with you. I would go for Alan's cap, but if Alan's smart, he can see the Forbidden, just sacrifice his cap, give it up, and just go take the Forbidden, sit on the Forbidden.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like if they move their armies across here, depending on the path they take, there's a pretty clear pathway for him. Or they don't actually know where Forbidden is, so maybe that's part of it. Because
that could be. It could be. Yeah. I thought they knew where it was. Okay, my mistake. Oh, that's Payaba.
Yeah.
On the mini-map I'm looking, and they see Payaba. I thought that was Forbidden they saw. They don't realize Forbidden's just underneath Payaba. And that's another benefit of Lako. Lako doesn't show borders, so you can hide cities sometimes.
Yeah, very true. Oh, it looks like Yellow's cap here is under threat. He's got a nice little flank here, though, from behind. I really like that.
Yeah, he's going to slaughter a bunch of these archers, yeah.
He's got his militia out, too, so great defense here. Could not fault Quetzal for his play so far. And, and a decent number of units, so, I mean, this could have huge implications, too.
Yeah, Alan's going to lose his whole army. Yeah.
Yeah, huge army, and it's almost like who blinks first. And, I mean, yeah, he has blinked, obviously, and is retreating, but whoever blinks, loses a heap of units, too, on the retreat. And going across that river, that makes it even more painful. These guys are getting cut down here. And, wow, what a nice little mini win here. Yeah, excellent defense. That suddenly has equaled it up a bit here on this side, and you know what? I'm increasing their odds. They're not 1% anymore. They're 5%.
Well, I disagree. I still think it's less than 1%. I mean, Green Love is completely out of the game. You've got Gardens up. You can see Alan's getting all the upgrades with tactics and knowledge and all the whole thing. So it's just they're delaying the inevitable, but not to take anything away. Green and Quetzal and Connor are playing their ass off. They're not just laying down and dying. And I'm not saying Green Love is either, but he's taken such a beating early on. It's going to be hard for, and his capital's going down right now anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So now they just got to find Forbidden.
Yeah, so he doesn't lose.
But it's essentially been a 3 versus 2 now for 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's tricky to come back from that. Must admit, whilst it's not a lot he could do anyway, he's basically throwing his army away. Would have liked to have seen him just retreat and fight another day, maybe. But yeah, that city.
Yeah, no.
That city is dead.
And you're starting to see the Colossus style army coming here from Snickow. So.
Yeah, look at that unit count. I mean, that's almost across the page. How many tabs he's got?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I think that's over 40.
And you can see the score. I mean, he's triple Green Love score right now.
So. Yeah, I mean units built. So we got 150 units. Largest army 44. Quetzal's got 37 though, so interesting. Or had 37, probably doesn't anymore. 44 units though. That's only going to get bigger with Colossus. No population cap, and he's at 100 out of 132. If he continues to build and he gets his mill 3, he can basically just get a death ball going.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at his resources. He just loaded up with resources. I mean, Snickow's got a score of 65. He's going to be at 7,000 soon. Greenup's not even touching 3,000. So there's it's going to be very. It's GG. It's just again delaying the inevitable here. Yeah. Because look, Snickow's going to go. Or who was that you just were on that library? Someone's about to go gunpowder.
Yeah, that was. So I think Alan.
Is it Thor?
Alan's not far away from gunpowder. Thor.
Yeah, he's not far at all.
Thor needs.
Thor needs science though, or a civ or something.
Yeah, and then Snickow's, he's actually quite far behind, but he's catching up with his knowledge income.
Well, and he's got a massive army anyway, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to age right now. Because I don't think, unless Connor, how's Connor's library looking? Can he age? If Connor can age, he can pull some crazy stunt move with a bunch of elephants maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
I mean,
he's not.
if he's playing as Indians, obviously, and he had, could maybe get 6 to 8 elephants up and running, suddenly that could be a game changer. We've seen that in recent games where an Indian player in gunpowder can just take control and basically make crazy things happen.
Oh yeah, especially you get a monarch going with elephants. I mean, it's deadly.
Oh wow, nice little attack here as well. I mean, I like the use of militia. Kind of Quetzal recognizing that he really needs to make things happen here. They don't have the luxury of sitting back.
Yeah, he's being aggressive. I appreciate it, but he's going to lose most of his army here, and his eco's shot. Yeah. And look at Alan's eco's rolling.
He's going for the capsack here. Actually, this is perhaps the final battle, at least on this side, because if he does...
He already got the sack. It's pointless.
Yeah.
He's wasting troops.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no reason to go here. It's retarded. It's just a retard. Yeah.
He really needs to either capture this and hold it, or like you said, there's no point.
There's no way in hell. Those archers are just raining hell on him.
Yeah,
and then there's a fort there, there's a temple up, there's a lookout there. I mean, it's just... this is no knock on Quetzal. He's playing what he can. It's just...
Yeah, it's fruitless.
I agree with you. Earlier on, he should have just teamed up with Connor, and they could have just seen what they could do together. Because now look, Connor's fighting too. He's going to lose his whole army, and they're orange with his little. He's got 1 high and 1 light cavalry. That's nothing.
And look at that. Look at those armies too. Like, that's majestic sight. But I feel like I need a bigger monitor just to capture all these units on the one screen.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's just massive.
Yeah.
It almost looks like there's 2 Colossus there.
Yeah, I mean, Turks got a decent army too, so obviously they've had a pretty easy run the last 10 minutes since it's been a de facto 2v1. But yeah, if it wasn't obvious before, it's definitely obvious now that they're basically drawing dead, as they say in poker. At this point, there is we'll have to adjust their probability officially to 0%. I feel like at this stage. Yeah,
Alan's aging now. Snicko's at 8,000 score. I mean, it's just they're rolling hard.
Yeah. No,
I mean, Snicko's almost got more total score than Connor and Quetzal combined, and those are the best 2 on that team. So, I mean, the highest scores on that team. There's no way catching up, and Alan's catching up. He's a 6,400 overall score. So.
Yeah, you can see. Well, Greenlap's going for a bit of a sneaky attack here. Perhaps he's trying to go for one of these cities, but you can see really good defense. Thor saw it coming. He's got a castle. He's got towers. Even if that doesn't hold it off, it's enough to buy time. He's got towers everywhere. Everything's covered. So, yeah, there's no Lakota sneak attack. There's no, there's no damage, no threat there for these guys. This is pretty much sewing up any path they could have had to victory is pretty much defended. So.
Well, Connor said he can age soon, but he's going to have to age real soon. And he's going to need about at least 8 elephants and some scouts, because they're probably going to try and bribe his elephants. So,
yeah.
Do they have any spies? Does Purple have any spies?
I will just check
No,
now.
he doesn't. No, he's just got a massive army. He doesn't need them.
Yeah, no spies, but he has got an explorer, so he's prepared for the opponent's spies. If they spam some. Oh, and it looks like he is building spies.
Yeah, he's
now.
got some.
So Connor's got a couple of spies in the works.
Well, maybe he can pick off a couple of his heavy cavalry. Alright, kill the siege.
The problem is, I think he needs like about 20 to 30 spies to have a chance. And
yeah, exactly. And about 45 elephants.
45 elephants.
He'll be alright.
45 elephants and 30 spies, and I'd be feeling like this is an even game.
And then that'll swing the tide, and even that might not be enough.
He needs gunpowder though as well. So yeah.
Well, for sure he needs gunpowder. That's without question, because Alan's already gunpowder, and he's going to come over there at some point.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like they are going in now. Sneakow has got such a huge army. Look at how huge that army is. Wow, that's almost
a proper Colossus army.
That's a Colossus army. He's got enough to capture that cap alone. Yeah, he's got it. Despite the fact that there's a castle and a tower within range of that city, just goes to show that he's just basically attack moving his entire army and now not really caring. And the fact is,
he's French, so they're all healing too. So he's got 2 supply wagons. He's got a despot, and he's just healing all those guys up as they go in, and like you said, they're rolling the guillotines out now.
Yeah, but microing his despot well too. He's keeping his despot within range of his units, but not running his despot to his death. GGs are getting called down now. Yeah, a bit of a heroic fight there, must admit, by the Euro LAT guys, but yeah, you got to hand it to the Raiders. They dominated from the get-go.
Yeah, this is there's Alan rolling with his gunpowder army.
Yeah, I think you can see in the chat, I think Connor's saying, you know, saw it coming, good despots, and then a few complaints here about the rares. And I mean, in fairness, I don't know. I mean, they got sugar.
You know, valid.
Sugar, bison, furs, and silver. Definitely no complaints. They're really, really strong rares.
So,
oh, you're lagging out a bit there. Sorry.
You the man.
Oh, you just lagged out a bit there, Old Dirty. But you're back now.
So, oh, sorry.
Oh, you're back. Yeah, back now.
Yeah, it's breaking in and out.
Yep, no, all good. I couldn't hear you for a second, but I can hear you loud and clear now.
I think the British was using silver. I don't know if French and Turk use silver.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, it looks like Turks was using silver, but they weren't using sugar. So those early raids must have done a great job. I feel like, you know, if you break up this game and you say, you know, what went wrong here, I feel like the LAT guys did great in the early game. And when I say LAT guys, obviously they're both LAT. I mean the Euro LAT guys, bottom right. Their raids were excellent. You can see how frustrated Sneakow was getting, and you know, making the most of Lakota and Iroquois. But they really should have seen this attack coming. That was the biggest downfall here. Like, it wasn't like Turks even attacked early on. Like, they delayed the attack for so long, and yet there wasn't really a clear strategy on how to hold that city. And that's what let them down, I feel.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I mean, yeah, the rares definitely helped, you know.
Yeah, true. No, the rares definitely...
For sugar, silver, it's...
Yeah, especially furs for Turks, that helps so much. And I mean, yeah, basically the LAT Raider guys could have done a lot more. They could have attacked a lot faster if they wanted to. They kind of, in a way, gave the Euro guys a chance to defend if they were more organized. But anyway, it just couldn't happen. So great strategy though. I like the aggressive picks. I mean, Turks, French, and Brits. Like, it doesn't get much more ballsy than that. All right, that's finally, after what we talked about was GG quite a while ago. That is officially GG. So congratulations to LAT Raiders. They go through to the next round. Oh, Old Dirty, can you hear me? I think Skype might be lagging out for a second here, so hopefully we'll be able to patch Old Dirty back in for the second replay. Hello, you there? Old Dirty?
Yeah, it's coming in and out. I don't know.
Yeah, no problem, man. It just if you do drop out, we'll just wait for you. But that's game number 1 done. So while I switch the scene across, did you have any final thoughts on that game? Well, we might have lost you again for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
You there?
Yep, you're back now. Yep.
Yeah, I think when as we predicted, you know, French, Turks, British, furs, sugar, silver. That's all you need. Enough said.
Yeah. No, exactly right. And so, yeah, there's not too much we can read into that game, I think. I'm just trying to load up the replay, so...
Yeah, we'll play it. I mean, from Connor, he could, but, you know, that French Turks just rolled through Laco, and that just, you know, that was it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm having some technical difficulties for a moment, so did you want to kill any time by telling anyone some random trivia about Azerbaijan? Oh, we might have lost you again. Whoop. Are you there? Hello, old dirty. Let me know if you come back. We might have lost our connection momentarily. So I'll just keep this replay on hold for the time being, just for a moment. If there's anyone in the chat, I can see we've got Duzzles, we've got Young One, we've got Lelouch, Dongscope. We've got our man Warren Dirksen, aka L Carpenter, aka L Steves. We've got Jitendra, aka Demon King. Coin. What's up, guys? Yeah, I think Old Dirty's having some technical difficulties at the moment with the internet connection. So, Demon King just said, "Oh, maybe I can understand why sometimes Old Dirty's lagging during the games." That's harsh, man. I think you're back now. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, the Skype's in and out.
Yeah, no problem, man. If it comes in and out, we'll just have to make do, I guess. But it is what it is. So, can you see my screen okay as well?
Yep, I see it now.
Okay, perfect. Shout out to Prolays as well. We've got Prolays in the house. Shout out to Prolays' mum too, who's definitely watching this as well. It's been a while since I've seen you. Been a whole week. Alright, so let's get started. So we'll get into the second game here. This is LAT Colomby versus Team G.a.Y. So again, this is on the same map, which is Old World, but I feel like Old World has a few different variants, so it'll be interesting to see what this one looks like. It looks like we do have an observer here as well, which, just so you guys know, is technically something that it's a rule that you're not meant to have observers, but I don't think we'll be harsh on that in this particular game, given that obviously Team G.a.Y agreed to it, but just be aware that generally speaking, there's a couple of rules, and one of them is, generally speaking, don't have observers for the tournament games because they may be able to get an unfair advantage by doing that. So let's have a look at their nations first of all. So we've got Team G.a.Y at the bottom right hand side, and again this is the losers match, so I'm not saying these guys are losers, but basically the losers of the first two matches play each other, and they need to win this game to stay in the tournament. Whoever doesn't win here is eliminated from Nomadium too, sadly, and so the stakes are really high. It's obviously a best of one as well, and we've got basically Team G.a.Y on the right hand side here versus Team LAT Colomby on the left hand side. Let's have a look at the nations. So we've got LAT Colomby have gone with Japanese, Inca and French for their nation picks, versus Team G.a.Y have gone for Japanese, Inca and Aztecs. So basically a mirror image of each other, except for the fact that one's gone for French and one's gone for Aztecs. What's your thoughts? Which one do you think is stronger out of Aztecs or French? I think Old Dirty... oh, you there?
You there?
Yeah, back now. Sorry. What were you saying?
Cutting it out.
It's alright. Fortunately, we're having a few connection issues here, so I'll just carry on while we're waiting for... Old Dirty, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's breaking up. It's cutting in and out.
Yeah, no problem. We'll just make the most of it. So once you're... We'll just wait for him to come back again. Old Dirty, if you can hear me, which nation do you think is stronger out of French versus Aztecs here?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I think Skype is fucked.
It may well be. It may well be.
Skype is fucked.
Although I can hear you now, so yeah. Can you hear?
Skype is fucked.
Can you hear me okay now?
Hear me?
Sounds like Old Dirty's having all sorts of dramas right now. Unfortunately, he may be dropped out.
We're getting Skype fucked.
We are
getting Skype fucked.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, but I don't know why this guy's cutting it out.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can change this the hosting setting or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure, man. We'll just have to make do, I guess. But yeah, see how it goes. If it keeps cutting out, we'll just have to. I don't know. I might have to go it alone for the last replay. But while I've got you, it seems to be okay at the moment. Basically, I don't know if you're aware, but the nations are exactly the same, except.
It's not.
Except we've got Aztecs on one team, and we've got.
And of course, it's the gay. On the gay game, the gays are fucking the Skype.
No. This is not turning out too well.
You gay fucking Skype.
I might have to drop this, unfortunately, Old Dirty. Unfortunately, the Skype's not working out too well, but
all right, drop it.
If you can hear me though, it's been a pleasure casting, and yeah, we'll cast again soon.
Yep. Later.
All right, bro. Later. All right, we have had to drop Old Dirty here. Unfortunately, was a casualty of of the lag, so I'm gonna have to go it alone, guys. If anyone who's played with Old Dirty, you've probably seen a few of these instances where, you know, just like in Ron, sometimes you lag out. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll carry on alone. So I'll just briefly, I'll quickly drop out Old Dirty's Skype window. You can see it's sitting there. I'll just move that out. So quickly, we're at the 4-minute mark, and just to recap on everything, we've got the team G.a.Y here at the bottom right-hand side. We've got Whippy, Hockey Star, and Rochi. As we talked about, basically, these guys are basically standard pros, and they're playing in the Nomad tournament here. So hats off to them, because this is definitely not their comfort zone playing Nomad. They're much more comfortable playing standard. But having said that, people always say to us, you know, Nomaders are noobs. If you're a standard player, your skills translate way better to Nomad because your micro is faster and so on. Whereas if you're playing the opposite way around, often standard players say that, you know, Nomad players suck when it comes to standard. So I don't know if that's true. That's just what some people are saying. And I mean, this is the ultimate test. And that's not to say that I think definitely classic Nomad players will have the advantage though, because we're playing on Nomad here. We're playing on Nomad's home turf. And these LAT Colomby guys, I don't know what to think of them. I haven't seen them do you know, they didn't impress me too much in that first game where they lost against the Euro Lats. But having said that, Corey played quite well. I do remember that Corey just didn't really pull the trigger when Corey was playing as Despot on that last game on Watering Hole. And, you know, the fact is that they've got the same nations here, except for that French versus Aztec split here. And just poetically, they happen to be up against each other, the French player versus the Aztec player. So that would be, yeah, it's going to be a nice kind of duel here to see how they go. Who picked the better nation, who ends up winning on that side, because the other ones are going to be pretty much exact mirror matchups here. Japanese there versus Japanese here. So it's going to be Japs versus Japs and potentially Inca versus Inca. I think another big thing will be to see who ends up getting Colossus as well. Because if one of these Inca players can nab Colossus, suddenly their Inca is going to be a lot more powerful than the opposing team's Inca. So we're at the 6-minute mark here now, and Oh, you can see that Lockie has built his racks in a very unusual position as Japanese. Nowhere near his capital, which is actually quite close to the front lines here. Not sure if this is going to pay off, but oh, he has done it to raid that wood there, so not a bad move. I mean, Hockey Star only started with 4 wood, and he had to build that additional woodcutter camp to try and basically try and get his full wood that he needs to in Age 1. I would have thought that Hockey would be in a much better position to take this wood, much more protected. Very risky to build it there. And I mean, I think you should only build it there if you've already secured that with another city. So that's quite quick thinking there by Lockie. I mean, sacrificing a little bit of his own long-term barracks position to get that raid off. But wow, yeah, look at that raid. And we've seen this before. I mean, Aztecs are quite vulnerable to early game aggression because whilst Aztecs get good once they get their own military up, they are quite slow in that early game, and especially with low wood, it's even slower, of course. So I think Hockey's starting to get a little bit nervous. The LAT Colomby guys off to a great start here, and look at that scores. Well, it's pretty even here. They're basically both at 500, but I mean, you could say that if you were if you're cheering for the LAT Colomby guys, you'd say they're definitely doing quite well. Looks like Rochi, as the Japs player here, is building a few units, though he will try and counter and attack Japanese, and Japanese does not have their racks close by, of course, so it's going to be hard for him to defend if Rochi can get a nice raid off. And that's pretty nice having relics on their side too. And they've got Pappy, Wine, and Peacocks as well. So some pretty decent rares for the long term, as opposed to the LAT Colomby guys have diamonds and they've also got obsidian. So I mean, diamonds are great, obsidian handy, but it's kind of hard to say. I mean, they've got marble there, which is fairly useless. Copper is about as useful as tits on a bull, is an Australian expression they say. So not very useful. They do have salt though, so salt will definitely come in handy in the late game, especially with Japanese who already get the cheap unit upgrades. Looks like Lockie's continuing the raids here, and the replay appears to have stopped here, which unfortunately I do have to let everyone who's watching right now know that this is not not really a bug or anything like that. This is actually something that I knew was coming, which regretfully I need to let everyone know that these guys played the game, and unfortunately at this point in time someone dropped out of the game, and fortunately because these two teams are fairly new to the tournament, they both didn't realize that tournament rules say you cannot load a save game, right? You need to restart. And part of the reason for that is because you basically, once you load a save game, the replay gets corrupted. It's just the way Rise Nations is, and we can't show the replay to everyone to show you what happened. So basically, just so everyone knows, at this point in time, one of the LAT guys dropped out. They loaded the saved game, and then once it was loaded, they played on for the next half an hour or so. So it was a really long game based on what I was told. I believe the Team G.a.Y guys basically boomed up, especially Rochi and Mr. Whippy. And in the long term, I believe they won the game just with getting to gunpowder or getting to the late ages and basically crushing the LAT guys here. So again, just the biggest reminder, it pains me to say this. I would have loved to have cast this full game, but we can't do that obviously because you guys didn't read the rules about not being able to load save games. So please just remember that in the future. If you guys ever have a dropped game, you either replace with AI or you rematch straight away. And this is a key reason because you won't be able to see your games on the big screen so that you can show, your family and friends. Hey, remember that time back in 2020 in February when I was playing that elite qualifier game versus Team G.a.Y? You won't have that memory. We'll only have these first 9 minutes. So guys, in case anyone's wondering though, I do need to announce who won the match, obviously, because we do need a winner. And there was a winner, and that winner was Team G.a.Y. So congratulations, Team G.a.Y. They were the champions of this game. Obviously, we can't show that, but they do advance from this lower bracket game in the tournament, and they will make it to the next round, which means that basically they will play against one of... I've got to move Old Dirty screen out. They'll play against one of either... sorry, I take that back. They play against the loser of the last game, which is LAT. So it will be Team G.a.Y. versus LAT in a final playoff to see who advances to the effectively to the round of 16, the Super 16. And of those teams as well, this was never part of the plans, but because, as I said earlier in the cast, anyone who might have missed it, we had another announcement to make. Unfortunately, LAT El Cartel, which is the team made up of Blast, Oleg, Bob, etc., etc. Unfortunately, they had some issues and can no longer play in the tournament anymore. So the team has been disbanded and removed from the tournament. As part of that, there will be a consolation qualification entry for the third place teams in both of the groups. So whoever ends up in third place out of both groups 1 and group 2 will play in a super qualifier to see who gets that wildcard entry to basically get that 5th position in the Super 16. So whilst it's disappointing that things didn't work out for LAT El Cartel, with everything there's always opportunity, and it will be great to see an opportunity given to one of these qualifying teams that would have otherwise missed out. So we won't know who that is yet, but that will be played on the map of Great Lakes, as we drew earlier in the stream. So Great Lakes will be the final game, and the 5th match, the final round here between G.a.Y. versus LAT will be on, just so everyone knows, it'll be on Sahara. So Sahara was drawn earlier, and then so Sahara will be the final playoff game for each group, and then the super qualifier between the third place teams will be on Great Lakes. So that basically wraps it up for the time being. We do have more games though coming to you, so just so you're aware, it's 8 p.m. here in Australia. I believe it's about 10 a.m. in England right now, and depending on your time zone where you are around the world, for most people watching this, it's probably either morning or early afternoon. So just so everyone's aware, in about 2 hours or 2.5 hours from now, we will be casting some more games. We've got more games, more action coming to you very soon. We've got the games from Group 1, which is basically PN7 versus AS. And then we have the winner of that game versus PLA Kung Fu. It's going to be great to watch those games. Can't wait to see who advances after AZ Hunters, who have already advanced. Some great play there by AZ Hunters. In particular, excellent play by Kron, I must say, in that winners game. No, it was an excellent team game all around by the AZ Hunters, who I am part of. So I was very proud. Make sure you check out those games if you missed it. If you're waiting in the meantime, but it will be exciting to see how PLA Kung Fu do. They played excellently in that AZ Hunters versus Kung Fu game. It was a nail biter, probably, if I say so myself, probably game of the tournament as far as close matches go so far. And then aside from that though, so basically in 2.5 hours from now, myself joined by someone you may have heard of, a guy called Jatin, will be casting with me. So we can't wait for that. Starting out with AS Phoenix versus PN7, and then followed by the winner of that versus PLA. In the meantime, for anyone watching this, please guys, we need to get these games and qualifiers finished ASAP. The deadline is this weekend, so we need to make sure that obviously the winners, Team G.a.Y. versus LAT, you guys need to play your match ASAP, and then once you guys have played that game, basically, yeah, that will then go through to that super qualifier on Great Lakes, like we talked about. Bob saying, can you stop laughing? Look, I can't help myself, so the answer is no. And if I could say 931 in real life, I would right now, but I'm not even going to try and imitate 931. And Demon said, noob wonder, no army. Well, all I can say to you, Demon, is noob despot, despot Brits, no dimension to your strategy, attack click in, 49. And guys, what I'm going to do now, so again, just to recap, 2.5 hours now. Make sure you set your alarms for 2.5 hours. That's when AS versus PN7 will be live. I'm going to switch now though, because I don't want any spoilers on the stream. We're going to play a classic match here. So because we're Nomadium 2, we're going to play a classic game right now. So if you want to watch some classic old school games with some people and talk in the chat, we're about to stream just a replay from last year, which is what I think was one of the games of the tournament between Four Valley versus PLA. So people might remember the result of the tournament, but I won't say anything. All I can say it was a great game. So we're just going to do a replay of that right now, just to make sure that the video doesn't spoil what happens here in the qualifiers. Other than that though, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again for tuning in. Set your alarms for 2.5 hours from now. We'll be coming with you with more qualifiers very soon. And GG, well played to all, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Cheers.
And I am at the 2 seconds mark.
Second mark. All right. I'm also at the 2 second mark. And
Okay.
wow.
So we're ready.
It's 84.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Do this. And the first thing that points out, it is a 4v4.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And really, I appreciate both Forwali and PLA for giving us a 4v4. It's no joke to arrange 8 players to be at the same time and punctually be able to start the game. So yeah, that's amazing. We got TNT, TNO, Timeless, and Mouse. I think it's going to be TNT's first game in the series. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen TNT show up in a match, as far as I know. So there's no Linky here on the roster, and no, who else isn't showing up here? Angelo, I guess, is another person they've played with. But yeah, TNT is definitely going to be an X factor here. I'm sure the fact that he's in PLA, he's probably a really good player. But yeah, absolutely no idea what level he's at, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, on this side we've got everybody from Forwali except Prolays. I guess we may see Prolays in future games. These guys have got 5 games, so they can easily rotate. That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really, really strong, almost a dream team here for Full Valley. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Dane, and I mean, we already talked about Surge, Standard, and Point. We know how good they are. But Danius is one of those players that I just find him to be a really, really smart player, and he's definitely underrated by the community, I feel. And so that's a really, really strong 4. And I mean, this is on Aussie Outback, by the way. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Aussie Outback, yeah. Yep, so Aussie Outback, what a great match. What a great map, what a great country too. Australia is a nice place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And but
yeah,
aside from,
no doubt. Yeah.
But aside from that, you know, it gives awesome Rise of Nations games, I find. It's really fascinating. There's so much going on, and there's so much economy that I feel like it's like a turbocharged Rise of Nations match. So yeah, can't wait to see what happens. And should we go through the nations quickly?
Oh yeah, definitely. Whoa, wait a second. Just interrupting. We got a $6 donation from GamerBoy70. So we are 12% already on our target of $50. Thanks a lot, man. That means a lot for me. All right, and then
That's awesome.
That brings us back to our selecting the nations. Let's look at the nations. So let's say if you were to be in one of these teams, based on the nations, which team would you rather be on?
All right, so we got Germans, British, Maya, and Japanese versus Russians, Inca, Aztecs, and Dutch. And I mean, of those sets of teams, the one that stands out to me, I think I'd probably want the Four Valley team here. Germans, British, and Japanese are all really, really strong nations, especially British on this map because of the ability to fish and get up to 125 food really, really quickly. Whereas, you know, Russians, Inca, Aztecs, Dutch, I feel like probably, you know, Russians and Dutch aren't quite as good as the other ones. But I mean, still, it's neither here nor there. It's a 4v4. There's so many players. I wouldn't say that one team has a massive advantage or anything, but I give a slight edge to Four Valley here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say Russians, Dutch, and Maya are going to be the weaker civilizations out of all of these. So, but again, Russians, they can be quite tricky in this map. it's not very much expected to see people going despot just because of so much fish is available. You would rather try to get all that wealth using senator and get your commerce cap to the max you can. So in such a scenario, Russians can be quite powerful because of all that, because of all that attrition that they provide. And well, Mandrew SF, which who I believe is TNO, he says Dutch is awesome. Actually, Dutch might not be bad for this map, particularly if the Dutch player can show some really nice raids on water. That will be amazing too.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, if you look at, I actually like the way that this map's kind of getting set up at the moment, because PLA have made a pretty aggressive build here with Aztecs building right in the center. And this is a big storyline on this map of Aussie Outback, is that in 4v4s and 3v3s, generally speaking, it comes down to the rare resource being mountains. And if one team can border push and steal all the mountains from the other team, then basically, once it gets to age 3 and age 4, you run out of metal, you can't build your heavy infantry, you can't build as much heavy cavalry, you can't build as much siege as well. And you've pretty much got to, the team that doesn't have the mountains has to basically purchase all their metal through, purchasing it from the marketplace. So I like the setup here. Timeless is built fairly aggressively, not a lot of wood by the looks of it. It's a little bit risky with his wood, but if they can kind of hold, they're going to have more metal in the long run.
Oh yeah, and they've got. So let's quickly just look over the rare resources. They've got pappy, horses, sugar, silk, furs, salt, wine, diamonds. That's amazing rare resources. I would love to have such rare resources in a game.
Yeah, this is looking like some really good rares. I mean, Aussie Outback has so many rares that there's generally, both teams are always going to have something good. I mean, it looks like the, Four Valley guys have silk, and silk is a really important one to have on this map.
Oh yeah, these guys have, both of them have silk, pappy, and salt. So there's no particular advantage over there.
Yeah, and there's sugar on the map as well, which seems like it's about halfway between. Oh no, it's actually sorry, that's the PLA guys have sugar as well. So yeah, look, plenty of good rares. It's going to be hard to keep track of exactly who's got what here, because 4v4s. This is the first 4v4 we've cast, and I suspect the action's going to heat up very, very shortly. I mean, you can see that looks like blue is starting to raid already, and has gone middle one here at the top of the map, TNO, and just classic TNO style here. TNO is such an aggressive player, and yeah, I love to see him mix it up like this.
Oh, he's a little late. He could have prevented Surge's barracks to be completed. But again, I want to point out something here. TNT has decided to put Civic 1 first before Commerce, so that helped him to get Timeless's woodcutter camp secured, and that's amazing. In team game, you want to help your ally as much as possible. So if TNT did not put that city here, you can already see that Dane was trying to hog that woodcutter camp, but now he cannot. So a really good teamwork there. Meanwhile, here Timeless is going on raids. He's Aztec, so it suits him perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in that game, it looks like Timeless has got Aztecs for the second time. In the last tournament match, he was also Aztecs, and that was when he destroyed Fireman, I believe. So we've already seen that he plays really, really well as Aztecs. And last time he was Aztecs, he was very aggressive. He pulled militia, and this is probably not as good of a map, especially against British here, because British are quite a good defensive nation here with the archers. But I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls off something crazy a little bit later into this match.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Timeless was Aztecs in that game against AZ2, right? And that was Aussie Outback as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Yeah, and he did play really well, so I want to see if he can pull that off again. Now, something to notice here, Forwali has got silver on the sides, close to Berlin, or on the shore, close to Berlin, yeah. And they don't know about it, but the PLA team does. So
yeah, wow.
So that's going to be changing. Now, another thing I want to point out here is that Forwali team has got 2 super fast civilizations, while none of the PLA teams have super fast civilizations. When I say super fast, I mean Germans and Japanese, which can age up much faster than any other civilization. So this is going to be, initially, if this game doesn't go for too long, if they start attacking early, now this German and Japanese combo is going to be helpful. But if this game draws out for too long, then again, Dutch, Inca, and Russians, the Aztecs, they are going to overpower, or they're going to be at least balance it out.
That's it. I mean, at the moment, in the early game, I definitely give Valley the better nations. But, I mean, as you rightly pointed out, I mean, Inca is a great nation in the late game, especially if TNT can get a Colossus. That's really OP. But, I mean, yeah, Inca's always great in the late game. Dutch is probably the definition of the best nation in the Gunpowder Age and, Enlightenment Age, if it gets that far. And then, we've talked about this before, but we've cast many games with Aztecs, and Aztecs just get stronger and stronger and stronger. I mean, the later in the ages they get, once you get the gunpowder, just the amount of plunder you get is ridiculous. So I guess the storyline here is that as this game progresses, if it stabilizes into a long, drawn-out macro game, I feel like PLA is going to slowly get stronger and stronger here.
Oh, yeah. Now, Green does not have a good economy. I mean, his water camp has been strangled completely by Dane's border push. So Timeless, I mean, I was talking about Timeless actually. Yeah, Timeless is struggling to find a new woodcutter camp. So that's going to slow him down severely. And here they've got British and Germans. Germans are fast, so in case they want to rush early, Germans are right there. On other side, British are slow in the beginning, but they have a super strong late game thanks to their extra 25% commerce cap. So this is going to be very strong game here. Like Inca and Aztecs, both of the best civilizations from PLA right now against Germans and British. On the other side, they've got Dutch and Russians, which are not the best. So I would say it's more up to green and light blue here to finish the game. The other side may not be able to overpower that much.
No, I agree. And I mean, another thing worth pointing out is that Surge is doing a great job at the moment behind the scenes raiding with these light ships. And he's got Citrus as well. So that's something that's really frustrating to play against, is when you constantly got your fish under attack, getting raided, and your food income and your gold income is always under pressure, is to try and focus on your match while also dealing with that at the same time.
Oh yeah, and Mouse just asked in the comments if the other side can kill, and I understand. I mean, he's against Maya and Japanese, and Japanese alone are so overpowered on this map. So I don't blame him if he just wants to defend and let the other side kill.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair strategy too. I mean, you look at their nations, so they got Russians and Dutch up against Japs. So the longer they can hold the game and make it go longer, into Gunpowder Age, for example, the better their chances. But if they try and fight Japanese early on, or if they try to rush, it just wouldn't work. They'd probably lose their army and be quickly counterattacked. So yeah, I like that kind of thinking from Master.
Yeah, and Timeless, just look at Timeless's score. He did suffer a lot because of that woodcutter camp, and he's just getting the science. Meanwhile, Yellow is going for it's already classical age, almost classical age. Look at Dane here. He's got second science and second civic already. Same for Zen Mechanics here. Second science, second civic. Surge just stopped at second science.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of that Pappy and Silk. I mean, you can see that Pappy and Silk are like the dream team when it comes to Aussie Outback. They're so good to get. You get your fish up, you get your science, you get your commerce too, and this is really setting up Dane and Zen to be in really, really strong positions as this game gets into this middle phase, where they're going to probably age to age 3 fairly quickly, given that everything is kind of turbocharged at the moment from a technology point of view.
Oh yeah, and here from PLA, only TNO has gone for an extra research commerce too. Everybody else has just decided to go with whatever they absolutely need and quickly move on to the classical age. Here, and I want to also point out how Zen Mechanics has placed his city in the front. That's amazing positioning. So since Zen Mechanics is in front, he has Maya, he has a better defense. It's going to give them a lot more time to survive an attack. And look at those trees right next to Xcocha or Zacocha. That's going to help them. I mean, that Zacocha city is in a perfect spot to be defended. this Surge city Nara is something they want to protect. In case our TNO or mouse, I would be looking to attack Nara. That seems to be unguarded and an easy target. And the Wonder Game has already started here. Colossus from Timeless, who's the Aztecs player, I don't know. I would expect the Inca player to get a Colossus. Just makes more sense. But if Timeless wants to boom, well, that's not a bad idea either. If with that Colossus, he's going to have that extra population, and you know what, we have seen what Aztecs can do with extra population. They're absolute disaster. They can wreak havoc on their opponents.
Oh, I mean, seriously, Aztecs with Colossus, it's almost like you build up that death ball of units, and once you get so big, it's just, you cannot be stopped because you try and attack them. They basically feed off your army. Your army is food to them. So, I mean, if there's a way that Timeless can kind of settle down here, these guys can boom up. I think PLA is probably in the best spot if they just build castles, sit back, and just try and get economies of 200 eco each, and just try and age up as quickly as they can. Because, I mean, at the moment, you look at the kind of state of affairs here. You've got Zen building hanging gardens. You've got Surge doing a great job raiding the wood in the back. The fish in the background, and you've also got a lot of early raids there on the PLA guys. I feel like Forvali have the upper hand at the moment because they basically put green and light blue's economy back quite significantly with some really good raids early in the match, and they're always going to be playing catch up from now on.
Oh yeah. And the knowledge game is working fine for now. I guess TNT should be getting TNT already has 3 cities. I think he should be making more universities. He just put down another university because he's got plenty of wealth. That's a lot of wealth already. And Timeless is, I think he forgot to start putting scholars in his university. Look at that. He has the least amount of knowledge income out of all the players.
Yeah, I think Timeless has definitely got the weakest economy. I mean, he was the guy that kind of took a risk at the beginning, and everything in this game, it's like Newton's law. Everything has an equal and opposite reaction. And I mean, he decided to walk into the center there and get that map control. And I mean, you can see that they've got plenty of mines now, but the problem is he's got no wood. I mean, he had no wood in the early game, and that wood was under pressure. So, ironically, it's been great for his team, but Timeless has basically taken one for the team and sacrificed his own economy by making that move in the beginning, and this is starting to play out now.
Actually, yeah, he also doesn't have anywhere close to 150 economy. He's being attacked by Coin and Dane both. It may not be really good for him. I don't see any army from light blue right now.
Yeah, it looks like light blue's he has got some ships which he's been building to try and defend against Surge's raids. So yeah, perhaps that's part of it. But you can see that this pressure's starting to come in now on Green City here, and yeah, really big army from Coin.
Oh yeah, and looks like that city is going to be taken.
Wow.
That
city does go down there. Yeah, just and honestly, I just feel like this is a reflection of that early kind of that wood situation. Unfortunately for Timeless and for TNT, just economically they're a bit behind there. They just couldn't keep up. And you look at the economies of Dane. I mean, Dane's out of control here. He's got 200 food, 200 wood coming in.
Oh yeah, and that's the power of Germans. Oh man, like really, really well played by both Dane and Coin here, and I guess a mouse is coming to help. That's obviously the wise decision. If he doesn't help right now, it's GG.
Yeah, they need to push back here, and I mean having 3 armies against 2 hopefully should give them a bit of an edge here, trying to push Coin and Danius back. But at the same time, even just having to come down here, you can see that Surge is going in for an attack himself, and Mouse with a good castle there. So
I mean, I have to give it to Mouse as well. Look at that castle, that Russian. So this is another point where Russians help you. Surge will have to go back. There is no way he can attack that at this point. So, well, Russians are not that bad after all.
Yeah, and wow, TNT actually has a huge army now. I don't know where he got all those archers from, but it seems like they just popped out of nowhere. But yeah, it looks like PLA guys are doing well here with that pushback, and yeah, Danius and Coin are needing to retreat here for the time being.
Oh yeah, but then this did hurt Timeless a lot. Just look at his economy. It's a complete disaster.
Yeah, exactly right. And I can see TNO is building pyramids here. So in the background, PLA is doing everything right. And it looks like Surge is starting to push forward here with his own Japanese army.
Oh yeah, he is. And he's got 3 catapults good enough to take that city down. But Blue is also there. Blue is there to help. Purple has got his army also, but I don't think Purple... Actually, Purple is attacking from the other side, but meanwhile, I guess Blue will be able to save White from Surge's attack. Meanwhile, Light Blue needs to support Green until Green is back on his feet. It's really bad for Green right now. I just don't want to be him at this point. Everybody else in the game has an awesome economy, but him.
Yeah, it's tough. There's just not a lot of trees for him to get. He hasn't got a lot of mines either. So he's kind of that player that was the odd one out as far as being first dibs on getting, the mines up and getting the woodcutter camps. So yeah, it's a tough spot for them. I feel like, unless they can try and figure out a really nice attack here, it looks like Danius with his huge economy and Coin are just going to slowly take the city.
Oh yeah, and I don't think Mouse can help this time. Mouse will have to stay there because Surge is ready with his army. He can attack anytime. Actually, he is going for it. Yep. And I don't blame him. If this site loses, what's the point of this whole game? He has to help them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they need to kind of hold this somehow, and I think coming down trying to get a triple off against the 2 armies is probably their best chance here. But yeah, it's looking pretty tough spot right now for Timeless and PLA.
Oh yeah. And Surge is not making any move. Surge is on the population limit. Meanwhile, not to forget, Zen Mechanics is already... He has all the researches needed for Gunpowder Age. Probably he's the only one who has everything required for Gunpowder.
Yeah, 247 knowledge income coming in from Zen. I mean, that's absolutely insane. And yeah, it's not going to take too long. It looks like, you can see in the chat actually, Search just said, Zen, we must kill. He's getting tripled. And Zen's replied, okay. So I suspect Zen is going to come out with a vengeance. I mean, Zen's been playing fairly, he's been booming up for most of this match so far by the looks of it, doing a bit of raiding, sending his army at the top. But, once he hits Gunpowder, that's probably going to be another storyline in this game because he's going to hit it way before anyone else will.
Oh yeah, and I want to say I think Zen is the boomer of Forwali team. If you remember that game against AS when Zen went Science 4 in Classical Age.
Oh man, absolutely insane. I've never seen someone crazy enough to do that, except obviously Zen is crazy enough to pull it off. And I mean, I know that was Great Lakes, but still, I've literally never seen someone go Science 4 before H2 before in my life. So I think Zen has definitely got that tag. I mean, Zen is such a good boomer. That's kind of how I view him when I play against him. He just always hits the ages much faster than anyone else. He's the kind of guy that hits Industrial Age when you're still in, Medieval Age. So
he's Industrial Age.
He's got tanks rolling through, and you've got pikemen trying to hit his tanks, and it's just not working out for you. Oh, so yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's looking like that's where he's heading. I mean, with that Hanging Gardens and pretty decent knowledge income coming in. This is going to be interesting once he hits Age 4.
Oh yeah, and something very strange from Dane, he's got extra commerce instead of anything else. So he is aiming for a 250 economy right now. We don't see that every day.
No, that is pretty crazy. Okay. I mean, these guys have such good economies, and I mean, the biggest thing for PLA right now, which concerns me for their chances, and if you're a full Bali fan, which would make you pretty happy, is that Aztec's capital has the Colossus there, and there's a massive army that's marching towards it. And I mean,
Whoa, just look at that. Just look at that mouse ambush and destroyed Surge's siege wagon. Oh my god, that was an awesome move. He just forced. I will have to give it to TNO and Mouse. What a brilliant game.
Wow, brilliant play there by both TNO and Mouse. That was epic and worthy of a semi-final like this. That took out a huge chunk of Surge's army there, and really looks like it gave PLA an even footing in this top side of the map.
Oh yeah, I mean if Green was doing fine, I would say this game would have been super interesting and a lot more balanced. But right now it just looks like the game is in a lot in favor of Forwali. Zen Mechanics is going Gunpowder Age, and Mouse, even after all those battles, he is still keeping up with his economy. Look at that. He is going to be Gunpowder Age soon too. Probably one of the first in his team. Or maybe not.
Yeah, wow,
TNO is also going to be aging soon.
I mean, yeah, TNO and Mouse are playing unbelievably well at the moment. And it's really going to come down to, I guess, if they can somehow, help out their teammates at the bottom here, because it looks like, as we said before, yellow and orange are both economically superior at the moment to green and light blue. But at the same time, green and light blue do have wonders. They've got Colossus, they've got Terracotta Army as well. I didn't actually see that go up, but Terracotta Army, what do you think of that decision there?
Oh, Terracotta Army is a wonder. I mean, a wonderful wonder in Gunpowder Age when those light infantry turn into arquebusiers. Yeah, it's an amazing sight. At this point, I won't say those Javelineers are not that useful. Maybe actually against British, the Javelineers are not that bad. Mouse said G.a.Y. I think they'll lose their side. But TNO is aging as well. TNO says just keep playing, and I like that spirit. Meanwhile, in the chat, Dave just said that he did Science 4 in Ancient Age once, and I feel I remember that game. He was Dutch, and it was 4 versus 4 on I guess on Great Lakes. Yeah, and that's something you want to think twice before doing. But if it works out, then you're in good luck. Tieno's going to lose that city. What do you think?
Yeah, looks like that city's probably going to go down. That's a really nice. Was that an ambush right there?
Oh yeah, that was an ambush. Great job by Surge here, but he's still going to be doubled because Zen decided to go from the other side instead of here. I do not understand why he would do that.
I think that was a bit of a blunder there by Surge. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what he was trying to achieve, but he surely would have thought that there was a chance that they'd have armies on both sides which would come in, and it looks like he's essentially lost his entire army there for really no game. Probably a bit of a blunder there by Surge.
Oh yeah, and that can change the game completely because now Surge's army has been decimated, so it just leaves Zen here. And I guess here Tieno has a big enough army that he can take care of Zen Mechanics. Meanwhile, there's a battle going between TNT and Dane, and TNT is taking care of that really nice. He just saved the city and he is pushing back Dane as well. And Mouse is back here again to help Timeless. Oh man, I feel so bad for him. I mean, I know he's been thinking, damn it, if I just could focus on Surge instead of helping my ally all the time. But at the same time, it's required. He can't help it.
Man, this is the first time in the match where I've thought, you know what? PLA can actually win this game.
Oh yeah, because PLA can.
Somehow they've absolutely come from what I thought was, definitely on the back foot. I mean, the fish were under pressure. They had really bad economies. And then you look at where they are now, they've got pretty much way more wonders than Forvali do. And, I guess, Surge losing that army has definitely put them a little bit weaker on the military side. And they're starting to stabilize here with, those nations like we talked about. We've got Aztecs, we've got Inca, and we've got Dutch, and they're all really good nations in the late game of this kind of setup.
Oh yeah, and just something to know. I mean, Zen Mechanics has got hanging gardens, and despite that, TNO has a better knowledge income than him. In fact, TNO has got an extra military, which gives him the operations upgrade, and that upgrade will allow him to take out this army from Zen, even though this army is slightly bigger. But I would have to say, really nice play by TNO. And meanwhile, Zen Mechanics is not thinking of ending the game right now. If you go Science 4 and President, that just tells the enemy that you are not trying to finish this as soon as possible. Your idea for this game is to draw it out till Enlightenment Age.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at TNO versus Zen. I mean, Zen was booming so hard, but TNO's actually got a better economy because of the power of the Dutch. I guess he's got so much extra income coming in, and he's got a higher set of commerce there. So, or is that from the wonders? He's got the pyramids and the Forbidden City. So that's definitely helping him out there.
Oh yeah, and TNT just committed suicide with his army. What is he doing there? He just ran into Dane's army. That had. Oh man, I feel so bad. TNT was doing amazing there, but
yeah,
if he loses that city, then I mean, Green is already on back foot on the other side, and with TNT on back foot, this was GG for this side. And look at that, Mouse and TNO, they are fighting it out so well.
Yeah, there's a huge battle here between Mouse and TNO and Zen and Surge. And wow, I mean, it's looking like PLA's starting to get the upper hand here. They've got more units, and yeah, it looks like a relatively good engagement here. TNO and Mouse definitely playing as MVPs here for PLA.
Yeah, and Dane just said, "I think I can win here," and yeah, clearly, after that suicide from TNO, there is, yeah, I don't see how TNO and Timeless are going to survive this. And Mouse is back again here. If you check this, Mouse is trying to come back, and alright, yeah, that's Mouse's life throughout this game. Just survive and help the other side.
I mean, Mouse is just one of those guys. He's just such a nice bloke, and he'll come in and save the day. I feel like he's like kind of the Superman of PLA right now, because he's coming down, helping his teammates out, going back, killing an army, coming back again. So yeah, I think they're definitely going to need him to be the nice guy one more time here, yeah, and just try and help balance out this bottom side of the map.
And Glasgow is going to be captured by the Russians.
Yeah, it looks like that Glasgow has gone down there. So yeah, I mean, that's going to hurt the economy here for Yellow. So,
oh yeah, and just again pointing out, Zen Mechanics did the printing press upgrade in the university, and he's got an amazing knowledge income right now. So that was the payoff. He decided to go for science before military. So because of that, he did lose that fight against TNO, but he got the better part of the deal by getting a better knowledge income, and now he's going to be Enlightenment Age first. And look at on the other side, TNT managed to take back his city. Oh my god, I can't believe, I'm telling you, if these guys could have won this game if they just played it out normally, or if they were a little bit more lucky.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, to be honest, this is like the biggest game, and so far it's been a game of, there have been a few blunders here. I mean, Surge made a bit of a blunder before. You got TNT who just sacrificed his entire army, and you've got so many wonders, but so much back and forth, like from a big picture game here. This is absolutely insane. This is exactly what we signed up for, and I can't wait to see how this is going to play out.
Oh shit, Mouse is going to be double there. Do you see it? Mouse is going to be double sandwiched between yellow and red, and green is hiding behind. That's not the right thing to do there.
Looks like a good pullback there by Mouse. Mouse is very aware of his surroundings, and he was able to kind of yank his army back behind that tower.
Oh,
so
yeah. In the right time.
He survived. Yeah, he survived that one. That was definitely a dangerous situation. Exactly. It could be one double like that which decides this entire match, because this is so finely balanced right now. you've got Zen, who's probably got the long-term advantage from a knowledge income point of view, but I feel like PLA's got an advantage from a nations and from a wonder point of view, because they've got pyramids, they've got Colossus, they've got, you know, Forbidden City, Terracotta Army. They're all really good wonders that really add up in the long term.
Oh yeah, and look at that. Tieno just said that he can win here. Now, looking at his library researches, if he has a bigger army, easily a bigger army than Zen Mechanics, and he can push back Zen Mechanics if he just speeds up. But Zen Mechanics will be on his way to Enlightenment Age, I think, within the next 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Surge here may be losing all of his army again. What do you think there?
Yeah, Surge's got a bigger army, but I mean, Mouse has probably got a bigger one here. And I mean, yeah, you look at how this is playing out. You know, Mouse has got a decent engagement here, but Surge has a lot of heavy knights. And I mean, with the Monarch and with the armor upgrades, he's got that +8 attack, or +8 armor, sorry, and +2 attack for his cavalry. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins here.
Yeah, and Surge is Surge might be winning this battle, but on the other side, yeah, Tieno is just rushing into Zen Mechanics capital. Do you see that? I mean, not the capital, just the city.
Yeah, he's pushing forward here, and it looks like Zen is trying to do what he can to hold, but he's got a lot of hallucinations, decoys there.
Hallucinations.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the wrong game, StarCraft. No, this is not StarCraft, this is Rise of Nations, yeah. But yeah, a lot of those were fake units, so I wonder if that helped kind of push Tieno back there. If he'd known that, whether he would have gone in for the kill or whether he would have retreated.
I would also like to point out that city from Zen Mechanics is not a good target. They should be attacking this Nara here, because then they don't have to worry about fighting that Mayan city fire. And that city is just too much in the corner. It's already so difficult to fight this, and very soon is, oh my god, just look at Zen Mechanics. He's not even thinking of ending this game in Enlightenment Age. He just went for Science 5.
Absolutely insane. This guy needs to be checked into a psych ward, because seeing him go Science 5 there before Age 5, man, this is awesome. This is exactly what we want to see in these kind of matches. Bit risky though. I mean, I must admit, he's got a big engagement here with Tieno, and this is the kind of time where it would come in handy to have those Enlightenment Age units.
Oh yeah, I'm going to interrupt you and get your attention to Timeless's capital. This is something I would never expect from in a semi-final game. He never deleted his Senate. How could he forget to delete his Senate?
Yeah, you can see he's starting to siege it with that catapult, so he's trying to make up for his mistake there. But can he get it destroyed and razed and rebuilt behind quick enough? That's the question, because that castle is really helping, but that castle is about to go down by the looks of it, unless Mouse can maybe come to the rescue again.
Oh yeah, and Timeless is just reaching gunpowder age. He's just reached gunpowder age. That means now he'll have access to arquebusiers, and Aztecs just get super strong in gunpowder. I mean, it just I don't know how, but maybe because of the arquebusiers probably, and they just get a 100% extra power boost. And yes, Surge is doing well. He is going to take that city as well, forcing Tieno to come and help.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, Surge has finally got the upper hand now over Mouse by the looks of it, as far as armies go. But Tieno has the upper hand over Zen.
Look at Tieno's score. PLA actually exceeded. They just surpassed Forwali in terms of score. Can you believe that?
Oh man, this is insane. This is when Dutch becomes powerful, right?
They actually came back from a point of no return.
Yeah, but look at Surge's army here. He's got a heap of heavy knights, heavy cavalry.
And Mouse is supposed to be helping him. Mouse should be going there. That's not good for... Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, they need to try and double Surge here because he has so many horses, but looks like they are starting to double now, and they're starting to get some traction. But wow, why is Surge's army not dying right now? That's what I'm curious about. They just seem to be destroying everyone that they come up against.
Oh, because he's got the Monarch, and he's got so many. So all those knights are getting the extra 2 armor.
Yeah, no, they've got +8 armor at the moment. That's
And look at that, Timeless and TNO are. It looks like they are coming back in the game as well. And this is like a response to anybody who said that the game was over in Classical Age. Just look at that. These guys are actually giving Forwali a run for their money.
This is insane, man. This is what happens when you got an unstoppable force versus an immovable object right now. I mean, God, these guys are playing off their pants at the moment. And you can see that, you know, TNT and Timeless are doing really, really well to hang in there. And I mean, we've seen so many comebacks. We've seen, you know, Surge has definitely come back here. We've got Mouse had a huge moment. TNO's got the best score in the entire match. So everyone is just, everyone knows how important it is.
TNO is going to age before Zen Mechanics. This is crazy.
Wow. That's the power of the Dutch right there. And he's playing Dutch as well as I've ever seen it before.
Meanwhile, TNO and Timeless have got their city back, and I don't think Yellow is not close to aging. Actually, Dane is close to aging, and TNT is not. So the green and light blue got a kill here very fast. Zen Mechanics just said we have to win here, because I think he realizes that the Inca Aztecs combo is getting their advantage, and they are overpowering their side. And meanwhile, some raids, like raids coming from TNT. He just probably took out that whole woodcutter camp through his dragoon. There's so really much going on in this game.
Oh, there is. And I mean, you look at the ocean too, there's heaps and heaps of ships from Mouse just protecting their waters. So there's all these things going on in the background here. This is absolutely insane, man. I don't know what the hell's going on, but holy I'm just thankful to be here right now watching this.
Just look at Green's army. He has a lot of units inside the city, and even everything that's outside is so big. Oh my god, Green is going to take this now. That Colossus is finally paying off. He has got the upper hand. And while he's nowhere close to aging, he can easily overpower that British army. Oh man, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. TNO and Mouse are both Enlightenment age, while nobody for Forwali is in Enlightenment yet.
And how the hell did they get to Enlightenment age? They didn't have Hanging Gardens, but they managed to get there first. But yeah, this is definitely the time to strike when you've got that technology advantage. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend they wait around too much longer.
And I mean, it is it partially Zen Mechanics' fault, because Zen Mechanics went for an extra commerce and extra science. So if this game draws out to Industrial Age, no doubt no doubt for Zen Mechanics going to take this for Forwali. But at this point, the way blue and white are attacking Surge, who might be aging to Enlightenment Age, but not in time. I guess Zen Mechanics' mistake is going to be a big mistake for Zen Mechanics at this point. Green and light blue are both doubling green. I mean, they're both attacking green and orange, but look at that massive army from green. That's just huge.
Oh man!
Holy shit! Is it going to be that first game where Forwali loses? Mouse.
I'm not going to call it. I'm definitely not going to call it. There's been too many back and forths, but this is definitely looking like PLA have the upper hand for sure.
Oh shit! PLA just took down that city. Meanwhile, Zen Mechanics is trying to attack Hague. Oh yeah, Coin said they played well.
Oh man, it looks like Forwali is starting to think, you know.
This is a slap on the face for anybody who said that the game was over. And Dave, are you listening? Because you just said the game's over to bring us the next game. Just look at that. That was the best comeback ever in the history of Rise of Nations.
Wow, I'm absolutely speechless right now. That was an incredible match. I was kind of keeping an eye on the scores for the teams as well, and I think the team scores swapped over about 5 or 6 times during this match. Like, so many times I thought, oh geez, Forwali's going to win. No, PLA might have a chance. Oh, PLA's going to win. No, hang on. geez, that was well played by everyone involved. Far out. I think TNO and Mouse definitely on the MVP list for this game. But wow.
And Zen Mechanics said it was my bad, and I would say I will, in an unqualified way, I would say yes. He became overconfident at a point. He should have just gone to Enlightened Rage as soon as possible and killed their side. I understand why he would go Science 5 because it clearly looked like yellow and orange had an edge over their side. They were clearly winning, but in games like this, you never know. This is amazing. I have not seen such a game in in a long time. Oh my god, I can't wait for the next game.
Man, that was insane. Can you bring up the scoreboard, the score graph, the stats? Because this tells a really, really fascinating story here. If you have a look there, because basically you can see it's so obvious that Timeless had such a bad start to this game. He was just holding on for dear life. He was the guy that kept getting attacked. He had the Colossus, but look at that graph. I mean, he basically hung in there the entire time and somehow managed to get back into, once he hit Gunpowder Age with Colossus, with Aztecs, that's when things started to kind of turn for green. But I'd almost say at PLA, you've got to give it to every single player on the team. TNO and Mouse played absolutely amazingly. Timeless, also, he didn't have the big score, but he had that role in the game where he basically walked into the middle, got that map control, and was basically defending the entire game with no wood. So Timeless did an incredible job to come back. I mean, TNT, yeah, look, he made that blunder where he lost his army a bit there, but still played a really solid game, and they were winning their side at the end. So full credit to the PLA guys. Wow, what a team! What a team effort there.
And Mashroor Tofa says it's going to be a 2-1, but let me remind you, this is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So we have a lot of games to play out still. We cannot take a lot of time for one game. So let's just quickly look at the military score. TNO had the highest kills, and Coin had the highest loss. It looks like TNO killed all of Coin's guys because it's the same number. And on the economy side, Zen Mechanics had the highest knowledge, but he just couldn't use it for the right time. And I guess that's partially what cost for Wally their game.
Yeah, I think so.
At least his side. They could have won their side if Zen Mechanics did not go extra science and commerce.
That was absolutely insane. This has definitely gone down as I'm going to call it probably the most exciting match that we've cast in this tournament so far.
Easily.
Incredible.